Welcome back to another stock market open live stream, but this time we have CPI to cover. That's a pretty big deal, so I'm pretty excited. We are just less than 4 minutes away here from the good old Consumer Price Index data release. So we're going to be covering this obviously in detail, and then what's remarkable is after we get CPI today, we're also going to get the Fed today. So we get a double whammy. This is a pretty special day. And I decided to add to that and make it even more special. The way we're adding to that and making it even more special is by making sure that today, since it's such a special day, is also an opportunity for you to get a coupon on those beautiful courses on building your wealth. And of course, if you want those trade alerts as well, you get them all in the Stocks and Psych group. Welcome aboard. Okay, cool. So let's take a peek at what we got here. We've got CPI coming out in 3 minutes. We've got various different estimates on what's going to go on, but the average seems to be that we're going to get something on a core month-over-month basis of 0.28. And so my thesis going into this, we talked about this a little bit on Monday, but just to refresh you, the thesis going into this is really if we get something over a 3.5 handle on the month-over-month, we's going puts today. Everything just sells off. It's going to be bad. So, not great. If we get something that is under 2.5 on that CPI a month over month, then you're probably going calls. And then maybe nothing if we just get sort of something right around that 0.3 handle. Keep in mind, if we get something under 2.5, we'll round down to 2. If we get something over 3.5, we'll round up to 4. A lot of people are just going to trade off that headline number, so we'll see what the heck it is. Alright, so let's see. Let's make sure everything is set. Looks like we are. Let's go ahead and also throw in this. And, I gotta change that little description there in the good old YouTube channel as well. But, yeah, this is pretty exciting. I personally always like the CPI days because we just, it just feels like we get a little bit more of a reiteration of, all right, this is the direction we're going. Is it really that bad? We shall see. Okay, there we go. All right, that's all set. Perfect. Okay. 1 minute away. 1 minute to go. So, I think it's probably still, this is sort of my quick opinion, I think it's still a little too early to expect that we're going to get some kind of giant collapse in the housing data, by the way. I think that's a big thing that the Federal Reserve is really waiting for is, hey, when are we going to get to see that housing data finally roll over? It's gonna be a while for that, so I'm not convinced that we're entirely ready for that yet. So we'll see. We shall see. But we're now 20 seconds away. Remember, expiring coupon code today. Hopefully today I can pull off trading like I did yesterday. I like days like yesterday. No guarantees we can have those, but yesterday we had a realized 103K day, and I staked less than 100K basically, basically. All right, here we go. Here comes the data, and it's a 0.2 handle. That's bullish. 0.2 handle, CPI year over year comes in 3.3. That's slightly under the 3.4 expected. CPI month over month headline comes in at 0 versus the 0.1. It's a bullish handle. Let's go. You've got the Qs literally just shot up like 1% right there. I don't know. Look at that. You got Tesla riding up right here. Enphase just knocked up 2-3% right here. Holy smokes. Let's go. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, good. This is what we've been waiting for, something to sort of undo the higher inflation that we've gotten. Let me see if I could get the exact Let's see here. The actual read here. We'll do that. And then let's get the actual report. And this is pretty exciting. So CPI core. CPI. Oh, wow. It comes in at 0.2 even. So like by the 2 decimal places, basically. It comes in at 0.200. Doesn't come in at 0.24, doesn't come in at, 2.8 as people expect. It comes in at an even 2.0. Oh, that's really good. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, let's go into the actual report here. So, CPI, okay, here we go. Right, more than offsetting a decline in gasoline, the shelter index rose 0.4. That's actually good. 0.4 is probably one of the weaker shelter numbers we've seen in a while. For the 4th consecutive month, the index for food increased 0.1. Food away, I thought it was 0.5 for a while there on shelter. I'll have to look at the chart. Anyway, let's see here. Indices which increased in May include shelter, medical care, used cars, trucks, and education. The index for airline fares, new vehicles, communication, recreation, and apparel were those that decreased. Fine. Okay, let's go to the actual chart here and see what the details are. I'm going to pull up the detailed charts. Let's listen to Rick for a moment.
Changes get. The cumulative effect is substantial, and that's what these indices continue to show us on a month-over-month basis. Yields, as expected, have dropped rather dramatically, and now we're getting right back into where the area of trade was before the non-farm numbers were released last Friday. We're hovering right around 427, 428. That was the low yield before we...
Oh, yeah, bonds are down like 12.5 basis points on a 10-year. That's huge. It's funny, I almost deployed all the extra cash yesterday, too, buying stuff. It's kind of funny. Perfect timing.
Pre-opening equities have moved all the way up 260 points in the Dow futures. Becky, back to you.
Rick, I think you summarized it so well. And you're...
Yeah, all right. Let's go to the actual detailed sheet here. So, as you all know, what I like to do is I like to grab the table. I'm going to look at that seasonally adjusted number on the right, that April to May figure. And I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom because that's where we're going to see services first. Oh, yeah, here we go, baby. Look at this. Something that was 3.3% last month over month is now negative 0.1. Financial services, negative 0.1. That was 2.5%. You've got funeral expenses plummeted, negative 0.5. That's great. Laundry, dry cleaning, 0.2. Apparel services other than dry cleaning, that one's still a little warm there at 1.5, but that one has a low weight. So miscellaneous personal services are negative. Personal care services at 0.2, that's really good. Oh, this is good. Oh, I like this. Postage and delivery down, let's see here. Education, 0.3. Admissions, 0.2. Pet services, 0.4. Recreation services, negative 0.2. Airline fares, wow, 3.6% to the downside in a month. Holy smokes. You know that American Airlines gave you a warning of this, right? American Airlines shouted at us and they said, Kevin's coupon expires today. Get in before they raise the price again. I think the course is going over $600 now after this coupon expiration, which means we're popping up a good chunk. Price goes up over time, right? But anyway, that's crazy. American Airlines gave us an actual warning that this summer we would see less demand and more price competitiveness. And that's exactly what we're now also seeing show up in inflation. Public transportation, 3.1%. That's fantastic. This is a really good CPI report. Holy smokes. Motor vehicle repair only at 0.3. That's huge because motor vehicle repair, this one right here, leads insurance up, right? So you want this one to be soft. You've got car and truck rental comes in down 1.2%. Oh, yeah, baby. Month over month deflation. Let's go. Transportation services down 0.5. That's great. Here's health insurance. Health insurance still up there. But that's generally one of your last categories. Hospital and related services, 0.3. That's actually pretty benign. Medical care services, 0.3. That's not bad either. This is pretty good. Water, so okay, well, here's your, like, bat signal for all-inness. This is great. This is really cool. Shelter, there's, oh, it was 0.4. I guess oh, that is interesting. I thought this was higher. 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. It's been sitting at 0.4. Big deal. So, and we know that shelter inflation in the market is actually down. So it's just a matter of time for it actually to show up in this owner's equivalent rent garbage. That's shocking. That's really, really good. Personal care products, negative 0.3. Other goods, 0.5. Fine. Alcoholic beverages away from home. Let's go. It's only 0.1. Okay. Alcoholic beverages in general, only 0.1. Okay. Smartphones down 1.2%. Also not a surprise. Those have been declining for a while. I mean, look at that. It's every month, and then the year-over-year comparisons as well. Education and communication commodities down 1.6%. I mean, I'm not seeing anything that's left over here. Everything is freaking negative, basically, or pretty low. Healthcare and housing, that's it. Supercore is going to be low on this. Sporting goods, pet goods, recreation commodities, medical care there's a hot one. Medical care commodities, not a surprise though. Again, the last that one's a little hot too. Used cars and trucks, tires, 0.9. That's a little pricey. Motor vehicle parts and equipment. These all lead into insurance, but new is cheaper. That's good. Footwear's down, jewelry's down, women's apparel's down, boys apparel, odd bounce there in boys apparel. Apparel in general, though, the entire category down 0.3. Household supplies up 0.2. Tools and hardware up 0.4. Appliances up 0.6. That's surprising. That's a good chunk. What about furniture? Furniture and bedding down 0.6. It's not so great for the furniture retailers. They're having to discount more to sell. Home furnishings, 0. Commodities, less food and energy, 0. There it is. Wow. Wow. This is really, really good. So, let me see here. See if I can get a read on Supercore. And, let's see here. You know what probably will do well today is IWM. IWM. This is your Russell. Yeah, here's your small caps index. Look at that. 2.2% on the small caps. The Qs are up about 1%. Enphase is up 4%. Oh, I just increased my exposure to Enphase yesterday. Woo! Then we've got Coin is up 4%. I closed my short on that yesterday. Tesla is Tesla looks like it ran up like 1.2%. But now it's slowly sinking again. Probably because you've got a lot of, you have that big shareholder meeting tomorrow. So you've got a lot of anxiety going into that. Let's take a look here if we have I want to get Supercore. I haven't seen Supercore come out yet. Okay, let me see here. So let's see here. Let's see. Supercore went negative. Are you kidding me? Holy smokes. Supercore. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Oh, this is great. This is really good. Oh, man. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, this is really good because this is what sort of like the final bat signal that's trying to tell markets to deploy your cash. Your Supercore literally went negative. You're at negative 0.045. That's huge. That takes out the housing component. It basically just said that Supercore just went into deflation. This is such a good report for the Fed today. I mean, this shouldn't change anything for the Fed meeting in terms of, we're not going to get a rate cut today. But what it does is it's going to let the Fed say, hey, we're going to write in more cuts into our dot plot. Remember, today is a summary of economic projections day, so it's not just a Fed day. It's a SEP day. And SEP days are huge because, those are the forecasts that we're just going to be talking about for the next 3 months. Of course, they always try to distance themselves, right after them. And oh, well, those were our estimates at that time. Okay. All right. So, but this is good. Let me see what else we have here. So, Supercore went negative. That would be, again, we had negative 0.45%. Then, and remember, that removes housing. Then we had the core month over month, that was impressive. Core month over month was 0.2%, even with, I'll put the zeros in there too. CPI month over month was 0.00. Wow. Actually, let me check if that was 0.00 or if it was exactly where that came in at. Oh, it just says 00. Oh, no, there it is. 0.019. Okay. So, and then they just... No, that doesn't make sense. No, that's a different category. No, sorry. Oh, there it is. All items. 0.006. There we go. My bad. Okay. Wow. That's also really good. Okay, so what does it mean for the Fed? It could start pricing in September for cuts. So right now, let me see here. It looks like December and November are now fully priced in. Fully priced in for cuts. So we have rate expectations now at, wow, we're almost at 2. Negative 1.97 cuts priced in for December. Almost 2 full cuts. So you'll probably get a dot plot today that shows 2 to 3 cuts. 1.3 cuts priced in for November. And September is going to start pricing in now. Let's see here. Yep, September's at 0.8. Wow. 0.8 cuts priced in for September. That's great. Everything's just moving up. Okay, so that's really good. Let's see here. As always, shelter costs were the biggest component of the increase in core prices. Medical care costs were also high. CPI means a September rate cut is back in play. Swap showing 18 basis points of cuts priced in. Sort of good news. Auto insurance fell on the month, but the cost is 20.3% higher than a year ago. Well, yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Shelter cost, 0.4. Fed swap, yeah, we saw that. Cheaper gas prices help, that's fine, but those are removed from core to some extent. Treasury yields plummeting. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, here's your disinflation narrative. Treasury yields now only down about 10.2%. Okay, let's try to listen for a moment to what the boomers are saying. And see what we got here.
Inflation month over month and a pretty good non-farm payrolls number. That's exactly what this immaculate disinflation would be defined as. So now it's about what do we see next? And on this front, I do see some downward momentum that is occurring in the economy. But let's remember, if you're sitting on a trading floor, you're managing portfolios, numbers like this aren't just about changing your base case. It's not that something like this would make you move from a December to November or even to a September rate cut. It can often be about reducing the balance of risks or the tails of the risks to your base case. So this number probably isn't going to change anyone's outlook as to what will happen next. That'll be based on their forecast. But it does reduce the chance that the Fed would if you had it in your scenarios, have to hike again, or that they have to stay for a prolonged hold. So sometimes it's about reducing those fat tails on your outlook as opposed to the individual. That is tradable, but usually around the conviction of your trade or the balance of risks or how much leverage you're putting onto it as opposed to the trade itself.
What could Jay Powell say today, Francis, that would really move the needle in your book?
Well, he could speak to some of his longer term concerns that aren't inflation or jobs. For example, well, he can't do it, but interest costs for the federal government are very high. They're about 19% of revenue is going towards interest costs. If he were to talk about, and he probably wouldn't, some of the risks of higher for longer, that would move the dial. But we have 3 more inflation reports, 3 more of just about everything until we get to September. The Fed is in a holding period. The market is in a holding period. And each individual data point, each individual Fed commentary will be far less important than the sum of all of their parts. So as much as this meeting will get a lot of attention.
Okay, boy, there's some big words here and way she likes to phrase stuff. It's basically saying, yo, man, this report doesn't exactly change what trades you're going to make. It's just going to mean whether or not you're going into margin. Or how much debt you're, that's interesting. And then obviously when it comes to the Fed, it's a matter of, hey, not so much all the noise that you kind of get from all the speakers on a day-to-day basis, but probably more what we get summed up at these Fed meetings. I mean, the next Fed meeting's in July, after the one today. Let me get the date for you. So, Fed schedule of, let's see here. July 31st. So if you want to go on a vacation, you've got about 6 weeks between today, that's like 7 weeks, and July 31st. So good time to escape the Fed there, huh? All right. So then we've got, let's see here, Nick T tweeted. Okay. I want to see, let's see here. CPI month over month, CPI year over year, we saw this. Core, we saw this. Super core, we saw this. This is going to help multivariate core. What about Nick T? Let's see, he's got to say. 11 minutes ago, Fed Governor Chris Waller said he wanted to see inflation reports where you don't have to look at the second best decimal place to find good news. This is one of those, and the bond market agrees. Yeah. Core CPI was well below expectations in May, posting a... Wait, how come yours says 0.16 gain? Because mine says 2.0. He says 0.16. Okay, so we'll have to clean that up. I'll just write that down. But my data should 0.200. I guess I could just divide it. I might do that. Nick T says 0.016%. And then therefore round it up. That'd be crazy. Because then you're rounding up on that headline. I don't know that nobody had a forecast this low. You can see that. I'll show you on screen here. Right here. Look at this. Core CPI. None of these companies had estimates that low. In fact, I'm pretty sure if I look at the estimate in general, I don't think there was even an economist forecaster that was looking for one this low. But I'm going to look. Survey. Okay. There were a few. There were actually about 10 that had an estimate between 0.15 and 0.2 out of 71. So it was definitely skewed to the 0.25 to 0.35 range. In fact, a lot of people thought that today was sort of just going to be like, I myself included, a lot of people thought today was just going to sort of be a match, and, you know, we would just sort of like not really get a really clear direction here. JK got some pretty clear direction here. Obviously, Fed meeting coming up, so that'll give some people anxiety, but I don't think it should. I think this is great. I would say this CPI report probably pushes me from on my bull bear scale 1 being bearish, 10 being, 1's bearish all cash, 10's all in stocks and margin. I've been at like 4.5. This probably puts me back to like 6.5, because you really need inflation to plummet very, very quickly now, so you can get a dovish Fed and you could prevent the joblessness recession. I wouldn't be surprised, and I know this might sound crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people get hired by companies, like especially smaller companies, based on how CPI comes out. Like some people will make purchasing decisions, like I'm going to buy the car, or I'm going to buy, the machine, or I'm going to hire the employee, or whatever, depending on what CPI does. Wouldn't surprise me. Let's listen in here for a moment.
I should say. The implication for taxes, you said taxes are now, I don't know if it's an historical low, but remarkably lower than they used to be. And of course, benefits on the other end are higher than they used to be. How do you think that changes? And what do you think the American public understands about this?
I think the American public probably doesn't think as much about the deficit as people kind of in the know do. They can't see and feel the deficit today. I think people think losing money, so to speak, or having a deficit is not a great thing. I think, you can see, if I was to equate this to a business situation, I think we have partisans who like to cut prices, i.e. tax rates, and we have partisans who like to increase expenses, especially variable expenses like entitlements. And neither one of those strategies leads to improvement in the deficit. And I am partisan about that. I do think our deficit has grown too big, and that is problematic for our country long term.
I mean, Steve, you basically said, given where we are, we're getting taxes are too low and we're getting too many benefits. That means you need to raise taxes and cut spending, which just sounds like after all your work, you came to the same conclusion as Simpson Bowles.
I don't think that's wrong. Now, we're not in advocacy of any particular position. Right. We'll show you the numbers, if you will.
But
I'll describe my personal bias. Sorry, say again.
You got to attack from both sides.
I don't think if you look at the structure of the numbers and we.
Okay, yeah, this guy's boring. But anyway, yeah, it's a pretty big jump in bullishness. I put on EHAC 6.5 to 7. Yeah, I should. You know what? Now 6.9 is going to make it seem like a joke, but 6.5 to 7. Honestly, I'm thinking about this. I want to think this out just logically for a moment. So what the report is deflationary. Boy, the last 4 reports that we had, January, February, March, April, when we just got May. The last 4 were all on the warmer side. And Jerome Powell's so desperate to cut rates. And he's like, it's just a bumpy first quarter. It'll come down. If these sort of reports keep coming in the rest of the year, you can cut way more than 2 times by the end of the year. Because inflation, if you get deflationary reports like this and you adjust for the housing figure, which is stupid anyway, the owner's equivalent rent, so lagging, your inflation levels today are probably negative. It's crazy. This is a great report. So, well, actually, yeah, we could do that. I mean, think about that. So, core, or let's do it here. So, core. Let's pull it up. So, if I go to all items less food and energy, you can see it right here. All items less food and energy have a weight of 79.578, okay, out of the total of 100, right? So, okay, oh boy, I think I'm going to need some help with math here in a moment. This is going to be, it's going to be some interesting, am I going to call it algebra? Okay, hold on. So, 0.79578, that's the weight for core CPI. And then I'm going to grab the weight for housing, which is like basically half of that. So, oh, no, actually it shouldn't be that hard. Okay, so this, we'll just use the rounded version at 0.2%. And then I'm going to go down here to housing, which was 0.4, but I need its weight. Oh, here it is. Okay, so shelter has a weight of 0.36143 weight for shelter. So just like on a quick gut check, if shelter goes to 0, roughly half of core CPI should go away. So you should go from 0.2 to 0.1 already. It's slightly less than half, but I'm not going to do the math. I'm just going to end up boring people and screwing it up. But it would roughly have the core CPI number that we had, which was already pretty low. So that's pretty remarkable. Now, again, you know, as we always say, one report doesn't make a trend, but really the end of 2023 and this report combined are all pretty soft inflation. Jerome Powell already told us we don't care about, you know, wage price inflation. We're not worried about it. We're not worried about basically shelter inflation because we expect it to roll over, and we're willing to be patient on the first half of the year since we think most of the disinflation will come in the second half. Well, we're about to be in the second half. So we're getting an early Christmas present, I guess. This is really interesting. So no, this is bullish, and this will lead to a bullish Fed meeting too. Jay Powell, he's not going to declare victory, but I think he would say something to the extent of, "Look, I said I think the second half will have more disinflation. We're starting to see that now, and we're not even in the second half yet." Now, that's not to say that'll continue, but that's what we're expecting, or hoping for, he might say. Very interesting. All right, let's listen in over here.
How can that really be monetized? We understood when Google was paying Apple a fortune, that made sense because there was advertising revenue on the other side of it. It's much more complicated. I mean, OpenAI has not figured out a quote-unquote business model yet, and I don't know who's going to be paying for every time that there's a query from an Apple user onto an OpenAI server, which may very well be an Azure cloud.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this business model unfolds for Apple. I'm not an Apple analyst. I see how it is good for people, including some of Microsoft's competitors, in terms of providing the core infrastructure. And I see how it can be monetized in terms of value add in the application. And so it's that interim group, which would include,
right,
you know, PCs on the edge or phones, if you will, on the edge. Not sure how that's going to monetize at this stage.
Steve,
maybe less well than in the past.
All right. We're going to have to run in a moment, but NBA rights, the valuation of NBA teams. We were talking to Josh Harris.
Boring.
You're 50 plus and alive. You can apply for Gerber Life.
Lame. All right. Let's see what's going on in Marquette. So, I kind of just expect green across the board here, frankly. But let's see what we actually get. Oh no. So you have less than a page of red. That'll change. So you'll get more red by the time the market opens. Matterport, surprisingly, is red. Oh, Apple. Yeah, I had calls going into the close yesterday on Apple. And, like, gosh, like, it was like the 30 minutes before close. The sucker just kept going. Go look at this. Yeah. It started, it started like the 40 minutes before close. So I had calls on this yesterday. And it's going and going and going. I'm like, oh, man. I got calls. If I hold them, I'm gonna have to pay some theta decay. I'm gonna close them. I closed them like 2 minutes before the bell to avoid theta decay, and I'm like, if we even have just a slight give back tomorrow, I'm gonna lose a chunk on the options. I think some of them I had were next Friday. At one point, I had some that were a little longer out, a little closer, kind of went in and out a little bit. But boy, I'm surprised after the CPI report that you have Apple red. Like still, I think there's a chance you could have people getting really excited in markets about Apple's AI, but we'll see. But I'll thank Apple anyway. I picked up some Benjis yesterday. I sent those trade alerts on Apple and Coin, so that was fun. That was a good 103K day. But you know, if we just add it to the pile, let's see what we could do between now and the end of the year. That's the goal, because a portfolio always goes up and down. Up on the year quite a bit. Hope that we can keep that going. Coinbase up 3.4. Probably, let me see, Bitcoin's probably up a chunk because here's Tesla at 0.64. Because it's a risk asset. Risk assets are going to go up today. GameStop's down 1.6. It had a crazy run yesterday. Did you notice, if you were watching yesterday in the live stream and you heard me shout out the bounce and then you bought calls, my lines are, where are my lines? Oh, there. You heard me shout out this bounce at the 2269 line. It actually bounced right at 2280. That would have set you up for basically, look at that, virtually straight up to right to the next line on intraday trading. That's freaking crazy. That's really, really good. So, oh yeah, here's Bitcoin. Yeah, this makes sense. Riding the 69 level. This makes a lot of sense. Risk asset on this sort of inflation report. Yeah, that it probably doesn't make sense to be bearish a Bitcoin with this sort of inflation report and what you're going to get with the Fed. That's it's a hedge, right? Like, you can, in my opinion, you could go for brief periods. You could go short BTC if you're worried about like a bad catalyst, because it's a risk asset and it'll like move. It doesn't move with earnings, right? It's not like, you know, a company's gonna have some, like, let's say you need a hedge, so you go short, let's say Nvidia, and then tomorrow they sign a crazy new contract, and then your hedge blows up, and it's a worthless hedge because the opposite happened. Bitcoin doesn't have that feature. There's no like news, so it actually makes a really good trading tool, as either a long risk asset or a short risk asset. So what else do we have here? Affirm. This doesn't surprise me. Affirm was up 11% yesterday. It's up 5% today. This kind of CPI report's pretty bullish for them. Boy, these fibs are pretty spaced out. I need to clean this up. These are some old fibs, aren't they? Oh yeah, these are really old. So let's get rid of these fibs. Let's redraw them. I think I'm going to go all the way back to this euphoria. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to go peak to trough here. So I've got 52.48. I could go backwards on that. 52.48 to 862. 52.48, 862. There we go. Oh, wow. That's, how decent is that? It's pretty messy. I mean, it's decent here. It's decent here. Under it, above it. It's not that great. We'll see. I'll mark it as yellow. But that's an interesting one. Mark them as yellow if I don't think they're as good. Okay. What do we got here? Here's Google. Oh, wow. Google's really broken out, huh? Oh, yeah. You're well above all-time highs here. Nice job, Google. Trade Desk, 165. ARM's up on this news. Actually, after the Apple event, pretty bullish ARM on. And I wouldn't invest in the company. I think there's too much control in one company, but just the technology. I can't poo-poo that. I think a lot of people are going to make their on-device chips through ARM. Well, certainly for mobile. You know, Amazon's the one that hasn't really broken out yet. Maybe today will help. Open Doors, a scam. They're up 6.5. That's sort of just an IWM move, is my guess here. So you're getting the small cap movement. Chipotle's up another one, too. Yeah, this is incredible. And see, what happens is as people become more confident that inflation is coming down, and I don't mean like you folks watching who, trade stocks and hear me say a million times there's a coupon expiring today, when there is, because that's all I say all day long when there's a coupon expiring. But it's true. I mean, the price is going to go up after it expires. So, but anyway, for those of you who are so attuned to this, you'll be some of the first to react. But, it'll broadly take, many generations of people a lot longer to believe this, that the inflation levels are actually receding. That takes a long time for expectations to go down. I mean, back in the 80s, I think took 5 years, something like that. Pretty crazy. Open Door made an offer in your house in Knoxville for $270,320. Yeah, we're not in the Knoxville market yet. Worth noting, right? So we don't like, we're a baby startup. We're in 2 states. So like what do you expect? And I've made that pretty clear on any of my house hack videos. But yeah, no. So anyway, what else here? Let's see here. Let's look at next catalyst. All right, give me a second here. Let me play this for a moment. Let me pull up next catalyst.
Run in this rally due to the lighter print, Apple's AI strategy, and hopefully, I guess, a more dovish Jay Powell.
So it's a great question, Matt. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you that I still feel pretty neutral on the equity market in here. Of course, there's always the possibility for further upside. The tools that we use as a strategist, they tend to be compasses, not GPS. And I certainly don't feel like I'm part of the bearish camp. But when I go through my modeling in terms of looking at inflation rates, in terms of looking at what the Fed might do, in terms of looking at where 10-year yields might end up at the end of the year, and what that all implies for PEs in the market and ultimate levels, the best number I continue to come up with is about 5,300, and we're obviously a bit above that right now. But I'll tell you that scenario in my valuation model comes in with the idea of 1 or 2 Fed cuts, 10-year yields that move down to 4.19, and get a PCE that gets back to 2.6%. That's been the sort of published consensus on the sell-side economics community. That's what we layer into our model. And that's already telling us that about where we are today, even a little bit below, is about fair value. So never say never, but in here, I do think a lot of this has already been priced into equities.
Lori, I'm going to show you a Bloomberg function here. It's the RRG, relative rotation graph on the S&P. And you already know what it says because you've been talking about this in your notes. We see leadership from IT and communication services. So really the Mag 7 leads no matter what range you put. I tried it with 1 month, 3 months.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not a surprise that the big ones are leading because they're the safest at this point. So let's see here. It's too hot in here. What's going on? What's going on with my air conditioners? I need more air. There we go. Oh, one of the flappies is stuck. Hold on a sec. Oh, that'll do it. I don't know if somebody went in there and tried to clean that thing or something, but they put the needler on it to where it covers the flappy up. I'm like, I never sweat in here. Why am I sweating? They got 3 air conditioners in here. It's always cold in here. Oh, it's hot right now. I hate it. It feels like sticky. Gross. Anyway. So, okay, next catalyst. Obviously, we have the Fed today. Tomorrow, we have PPI, producer price inflation. Then, and we're looking for ex-food and energy of 0.3, ex-food energy trade of 0.3. Then we have, that's tomorrow, jobless claims tomorrow, expecting 225. Friday, University of Michigan sentiment. All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right. So let's now let's see what what else people are talking about. But we're about 20 minutes from market open here. And let's see what we got.
$23 a share. None of that is going to happen. And for its part, Skydance and Redbird, I am hearing, are done. Done. Goodbye. Larry Ellison, goodbye.
Oh my
David
God, he's gotta
Ellison,
listen to data centers.
goodbye.
It works so
You know, you
well.
work so hard, you
Hand
work so
glove.
long. They had a real plan, and you'd have to have a real plan if you were going to come in here, because it's not clear without a plan that that there's a lot that you really want.
All right. Gosh, they talk about Paramount a lot. Anyway, inflation data reverses impact of jobs print on Fed rate bets. Expectations for Fed interest rate cuts have changed rapidly in just a few days. At the end of last week, traders have all but ruled out a September reduction. Right. Basically, because of the hot jobs data, it's like, oh, I guess we're not getting any cuts anytime soon. And then, of course, we're looking and we're like, oh my gosh, but it's so much of it has to do with part-time workers gaining jobs, not full-time workers. And this just sort of undoes that bad news. That's great. That's really cool. Okay, good. So, yeah, and this is huge. This is a big day. Let's go, what's next? So, that's going to be, let's go with JP Morgan. That's boring. B of A says things are kind of awesome for stocks. Okay, well, that makes me nervous. Things are awesome. Oh. Let's go with... Yeah, it's not awesome for Tesla. What about... Yeah, bonds still... 9.8 basis points. Okay. Alright, go back to here.
At the end of the day, it's Sherry Rudstone's decision. And for whatever reason...
Still on Paramount? My goodness. Okay, fine. Jake Paul launching skincare line for men. A line called W. Refer to winning. Yes. I picked up a W. That's good. That's cool. Nice. Okay. What else? Oh dear. Oh yeah, Elon. I saw this yesterday too. Elon dropped his lawsuit against OpenAI because they apparently there wasn't sort of a potential clear contract between the parties, and just sort of emails on expectations or ideas don't really create a burden. And so maybe they thought they had a weak case and dumped their lawsuit. Why is front page Wall Street Journal? Look at this. Elon Musk's boundary blurring relationship with women at SpaceX. When Elon Musk personally contacted a former SpaceX engineering intern to discuss a role on his executive staff, the woman spoke with excitement to her friends about a high-profile problem-solving role at a rocket company. She and Musk had met years earlier during her internship while she was still in college. She'd approached him with ideas for improving SpaceX. Her outreach led to a date, which led to... oh, gosh. What? Like, why is the Wall Street Journal reporting on sexual relations? Poor guy. Gosh, this is huge. This is a lot of reporting. I mean, maybe I ought to read the whole thing to find out why, but I don't really care that much.
This is not a great situation, and so it doesn't mean that it's over. I hate to think of me having to sit here and bore people yet again with talking about the latest.
Dude, they're still on Paramount. You guys are, yes, you guys are boring. Oh my lord. I'll go to the New York Times. It'll be more entertaining. Boom. There, I did it. Buyers are getting deep discounts on aging and empty buildings, a sign of pain in the real estate market. Oh my gosh, yeah. Office is getting just still reamed in these big cities. Inflation cooled slightly ahead of Fed meeting. Well, that's more than slight. That core read was fantastic. That was a lot of cooling. That was great. All right. Okay. I could go see what the suits are saying, but I think so far it's probably a little too early to start getting some suit pieces following CPI. GameStop's down about 4.9% right now. That's interesting. On CPI day, it's almost like you're getting people saying, potentially. Okay, we're going to take our money out of the momentum play, and we're going to go allocate it to something else because everything's going up now that we're pricing in more rate cuts. Okay. BTC had a nice bounce right here at that 69 level. It's a good little confirmation bounce, actually. It's bullish. That's a bullish bounce. Affirm. Ooh, Affirm. Look at that. We drew this as a fib, and looks like we just broke that fib, confirmed, and now we're moving. Well, that's pretty good. Bullish Affirm today. Okay. But anything could change in the first 15 minutes of trade. I don't expect it to be bearish, but, you know, the stock market is really good at humbling people. California messed up those numbers with their $20 minimum wage increase. Oh, yeah, probably to some extent. You know, you have a tailwind there of higher inflation because of California. California is a huge state. You know, it's a very, very large. I mean, it's over 10% as a percentage of population. It's probably closer to like 13% of the country's population. It's pretty wild. And that's for somebody who's what's it called? Oh, what am I trying to say? You know, if technically it was evenly divided, every state should be 2% of population. So you're like 6 times an equal weight. That's interesting. All right, anyway. So Nvidia up nicely here, 1.8%. We've got Apple 0.5. Ooh, Enphase. Wow, Enphase just rally mode. Off that 132 line, too. Where's it going next? Honestly, I don't have any lines until you get to the 160s. That's crazy. Volatility should be going up today on a lot of these stocks because of the inflation report and then, of course, Fed. I read a report a couple days ago. The wage increase in California eliminated 10K service jobs. Yeah. Yeah, that's highly likely. I mean, that's just the way it works. And then, unfortunately, customers have to pay with longer wait times, higher prices, and worse service. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody says, I saw you shorted Bitcoin. Yeah. It's a tiny position in a macro hedge for bad data. So the good news is, you know, it's not an option. It's not a derivative. So it's like you put $100 into a macro hedge short, the thing moves 3%. It actually made money, mind you, because it went down when I first shorted it at like 70K. So it's still below that. But yeah, as a macro hedge, okay, it gives back 3% or it goes slightly down. That's okay because the rest of the portfolio will be up way more. So, but it, like I literally stated, as a macro hedge. I think people are like blind to that and they're like, oh my God, Kevin went short Bitcoin. He's a crypto hater. It's like the mental depth that I think the internet provides is so shallow. It's so shallow. It's like, hello, have you ever heard of a risk asset hedge? It's the perfect risk asset hedge. It doesn't have earnings. It doesn't have company news. It's a great tool. That's actually a good use case for more volume. And then when you go cover a short, you're actually buying, right? So anyway, let's listen over here. Shallow Hal, yeah. Yeah, the internet collective mind is pretty dumb. The internet collective mind is very dangerous.
For the big guys, they're still waiting for BlackRock, they're still waiting for Vanguard, they're still waiting for State Street. All three of these index funds did vote against.
A lot of people waiting in line. There are a lot less people waiting in line. Yeah, I mean, there are always anecdotes that people are going to restaurants more or less rather. That you're actually finding that in earnings calls at companies. So if you want data, you could read the earnings calls. Multiple earnings calls are saying things like, "Hey, we have fewer people coming to the restaurants. So it's not just about price; it's about trying to get them back in the door. But they're just not coming McDonald's is complaining about that.
Late in the day, even, well after the close, how they voted, and therefore we may start to see some headlines about it.
So do you have any analysis of the average price that people have bought post when this company was added to the S&P?
I don't.
So that and the index funds that bought it added to the S&P, they're aggrieved. They are not voting for that package because you get tremendous dilution. That's my view. So I don't know. I mean, look, there could be consistent people who never sold. It could be like a GameStop diamond hand thing for all I know. But it does bring to mind that there are a lot of people who definitely bought it at 250 and 200. Why would they vote in favor of Musk other than they fear that he'll go work for one of his other
That's
entities?
the main reason,
Yeah,
I
that's the
think.
main
You
reason.
vote in favor because you have a fear that he will not be properly incented to remain at the company or focused. Who knows if that's true? It's Elon Musk. Man's capable.
Somebody's like, why are you bagging on the internet? Your wealth is tied up here. I'm not bagging on the internet broadly. I think the internet broadly is good, but I think it's also very important to be aware as an individual investor that the herd mentality is very bad, because it basically just leads you to kind of be like what? You must hate this. It's like you can't even read, apparently. It's like it's the depth that people are willing to go in understanding somebody's perspective is very, very low. Kind of like, you bad man. You good man. You a bad man. That's all. That's you don't want to be part of that, right? The part of this, the point of this channel is helping people not be so dumb. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. So I think a lot of people trading today are going to be nervous about the Fed dot plot. So it's possible that you're not going to get this like skyrocket of a market at open here if people are nervous about the Fed. And if people are, I think once we get to the Fed, we're actually going to get a happy J-Pow today. So I'm pretty bullish going into this Fed meeting. Like, this is a game changer report, because it just, the thing is, it can't come soon enough. You need it to come. How should I say? You need it to. If we get a bad report today, you would put more weight on the damage that's being done in the jobs market. So you don't really want to have wait until July to get better inflation data. So this is a great sign. Yeah, this is good. All right, 7 minutes to open. Hey, what does everybody think? Who does everybody think Trump's VP is going to be? I was talking, chatting about this yesterday. Tim Scott, Marco Rubio, Tom Cotton, Nikki Haley. I doubt that. I doubt that'll happen. Elise, Mike Pompeo, J.D. Vance. People think he's got a really good shot. Ben Carson. He was at HUD. I don't know. Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance. Not Christie. I think Christie killed her chances. Vivek, I think, is too risky for Trump as someone who might try to overshadow Trump. I think that's just my take. I think there's a chance, and I'm not like trying to say like which I think was better. I just think, what do I think Trump is going to pick, or whom do I think he's going to pick? I think it'd be between Marco and JD. I don't know. That's my take. What does everybody think over here? Tom Cotton? Okay, that'd be up there too. Yeah, he'd be up there. Well, that's interesting. It'll be Scott, Nikki. I don't think it's gonna be Nikki. I don't know. There was too much mudslinging in the campaign. You know, Vivek knew he was going for a VP slot, and that's why. A very smart strategy. I think that's why, you know, he, as they say here in the Times, basically had a devotion to Trump. Tulsi. Okay, all right. Some interesting wild cards. She's in the wild card category, really. Tucker Carlson. There's no way. Marjorie Taylor Greene. That would be really interesting. To see Tucker like actually go into politics. I don't think Tucker wants that at this point. I don't. Does he? Like he strikes me more of somebody who wants to be the P, not the VP. So and then Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think is gonna happen. So, you know, it kind of be like Biden picking AOC as VP, right? You're just going a little too far down the spectrum, and it makes building consensus even harder. Which you need consensus to get anything done in Washington. So, well, I guess if you could get full control, maybe not. But anyway. It'll be interesting. So, okay. Some interesting comments. Larry Kudlow, yes! Okay, if Larry Kudlow becomes the vice president, I'm going all in on margin. I'm all in margin. All in margin, every single stock I can find. Because Larry Kudlow is just going to be on TV every day. We're going to have a V-shape. I love that guy. Okay. All right. So, 2.5 minutes away here. Oh, man. How many interviews did he talk about the V? Oh, my Lord. Oh, dear. Okay. All right. Alrighty. So, BTC's going back to its line, getting a little softness going into the open here. I think you might actually get some red candlesticks going into the open here. Look at that. BTC softening. Look at that. Tesla's going down into the open here. It's up 32 bips. But remember, when you have another big catalyst, it's really hard for the party to start. I think people are going to, like, people buying right now, they realize they're trading the Fed. So that's going to limit some of your buying, I think, here. But it does look like Enphase doesn't give an F. And small caps. Getting a little rotation down there, too. So I really want to watch today. I'm going to put a firm at the top. I already got Bitcoin there. I've got Enphase. Ooh, double bounce on a firm. That looks pretty good. All right, we're going to put Apple up here, put Nvidia up here, put Tesla up here. All right, so I'll pay attention to these. Oh, yeah, and then the Qs I got right here already. All right, all right. I really hope I could replicate yesterday's trading today. Sent out trade alerts for these trades. Yesterday was a realized profit, 100K day. Only bet about, what, 80K at a time on these Apple positions. So Apple did really well. But yeah, this is pretty exciting. Let's see what we can do. Remember, coupon code expires today, so join us in the Stocks and Site group. You get lifetime access to all the course member lives. You get lifetime access to all the lectures. When I add new lectures, you get those. Price goes up over time. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. All right, here we go.
And Dana Paola at the NASDAQ leading derivatives marketplace CME group. I know you're looking for some EL management.
Yeah, I don't know if they have any. Horton, the home builders are just on fire today. This is a group that has handled everything incredibly well. Toll Brothers, Horton, they're up gigantically. There was a downgrade of Lennar today, clearly ill-advised and ill-timed. The stock is going crazy. It's up $6.
That's a very green day, but ironically, things are going red. I'm watching Nvidia moving down. I'm watching Tesla moving down. I'm watching Apple, can't find a direction here. I'm watching Enphase push up, Affirm push up, and the Qs broadly moving down also. So seeing the Qs move down here. And let's see here. Yeah, Enphase. Firm's just moving. Tesla red again, going right back down to that 170 level. 75 bips here on the Qs. Slightly red. Or pushing red with these red candles. So see what direction we go here. And Tesla trying to bounce. Trying to get a nice little bounce here on Tesla. And let's see here. What else we got? Okay. So then we've got... Well, let's listen in over here for a moment. Let's just see what they're saying. Oracle, 8%? What?
I can't stand them, but they were talking about how the numbers were missed. I mean, like, the only thing that matters is the contracts.
Right.
And the contracts are, and David, they're, as Larry Ellison pointed out, they're for training, not inference. That's really huge because, man, that's a lot of money. Now, there are people who say, can it be bested? Can they keep it up? But Safra said, look, my guidance is very conservative. This was a remarkable call. Remarkable call. And by the way, Broadcom's tonight, and I don't think Broadcom is going to be all that bad either, to tell you the truth. That's symbol AVGO from the days when Hock Tan had Abaco.
I mean, Oracle now has a...
Abaco, Broadcom's up 38.
Oracle has a $373 billion market cap. Larry Ellison, I mean, I don't know if he's still at 41%, but he's up there.
He must be so upset about this stupid red.
And it's funny because he was a lot of the money behind the Paramount bid. His net worth has probably gone up way more than what he was going to.
Still talking Paramount here. My gosh, get off of it.
He's an amazing guy. He had a great vision here. He had a great vision that he was going to be able to be basically the infrastructure as a service business. And my hat is off to Larry. Once again, he delivered. And of course, Safra, who is just unbelievably good.
Again, I want to check the latest numbers, but I had him over 1.1 billion shares.
Well,
so do the math.
I know. Wealthy people get wealthier.
Although I'm going to check, make sure those are the latest numbers. By the way, and other things that I need to check. I did want to. You were talking EQT.
Yeah.
I was talking QTS.
Which
is the data center company of Blackstone.
Yeah, well, I mean, like when you listen to Davey Day Trade, a lot of times he picks just letters.
Yeah, so I had my T and my Q, but I had them all mixed up.
I was on Reddit. I go on Reddit, Wall Street Bets. Today they were featuring the turtle. And I do think that GameStop won here. The Bears are going to be in retreat because now Ryan Cohen, he has total control of the money, has $3 billion to play with. So what I think he would do, now he never listens to me at all, or he throws me an ice cream cone or good humor, I don't know. But they now have the money to be able to write a check to any mall in the world. They do have 4,000 stores. They could get out of every lease, close every single GameStop by my take for a couple $1 billion and start over. And that's just unbelievable. So my hat is off to what they did in terms of being able to take advantage of the memesters.
To refresh people, they were doing an at-the-market offering led by...
It's a good point. They have a lot of cash right now. A really good point.
Money for the company. This, of course, as Jim pointed out, since the stock rose dramatically. Now, by the way, they did 45 million shares and raised almost $1 billion. Then they did another 75 million, which they've now completed raising, as you just said, about $2.1 billion. So you are talking about Jim, you asked me about Paramount. Is there anything you can remember that's similar to this? A company raising $3 billion? What percent of the market cap of this was this?
The company's is $10 billion. They have $3 billion. They have almost no debt. They have that
so they
piece
raised
of paper
30% of their market value.
The big issue was the leases
in cash.
He could right now write checks to whoever he has, Simon Properties, doesn't matter. Get out of he can pick the 3,000 bad GameStops. He could close them. He can then open another company. And this is no longer GameStop. This is SPAC.
Oh yeah, Apple's moving too. Yep. Yep, that's pretty. Oh wow, yeah, look at that. Apple's moving up. You're at about 1.17. Starting to get a little red candlestick there. Affirm just keeps going. Tesla's up now 50. Look at that bounce on the 170, but almost a barcode here. It's just you just don't have volume before the vote. That's the problem. So you have very little trade volume before the vote here. You've got Nvidia has got some red candles coming up over here. Apple, you've got trying to top out here at about 209. Enphase moving nicely. Affirm just keeps going. It's at 12. You've got the Qs starting to kind of rotate down a little bit. You've got what's BTC doing? Yeah, BTC's 69.3. Robinhood, actually surprised Robinhood's not up more. It's only up about 2.2 right now. Very interesting.
He thought that Roy Kitty was funny. I said, no, I don't think he did. You were the star, though.
I didn't. I didn't find it funny. I didn't find it informative.
Well,
found it a waste of my time.
Did Gabe really hang up right before he was going to go on? No, in real.
No, it's come on. It's
it's fictionalized.
It's fictionalized.
Well, I think if you look,
it's in the realm of reality.
Roy Kitty is the hero of that movie.
Yes, they made him the hero of that movie.
That's what we're all talking about.
They did make him the hero of that movie.
So if he wants to have a Heineken, is it a Heineken?
He was the hero of that movie.
So like that's what's going on. People don't understand.
In Hollywood, you need bad guys, good guys. So,
well, the rich people are the bad guys, and that's kind of where people are. I don't know.
As for stocks, this probably looks to be what could be the Russell's best day of the year.
Wow, it's been so neglected.
Home builders are on a tear, obviously.
Oh, my, are they hot. And, boy, there was such a big short being built up because a lot of people felt that was the way to play a hot number. Clearly, again, an ill-advised strategy. You know, there's a
lot of shorts, for sure. I saw it in a lot of different assets. People waiting, like hedging everywhere.
Must be the top. I mean, whenever you do an ironic analysis, wow, nobody's short anymore. It's just stupid analysis. It doesn't matter because the market has no history. The market's like a deck of cards here. You don't know. It has no memory. If you play cards, I can count blackjack cards. Got kicked out of a casino. Hey, not bad.
Just like Rain Man.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got kicked out of a casino. I mean, I was obviously counting. I had water. I sat there for 6 hours. I was like, hey, you're winning a little too much. But cards have no memory, and this market has no memory. I mean, Apple's horrible, and then Apple's the best performer, adds the size of a Cisco. This market is not like any I've seen. Because it doesn't matter what happened yesterday.
It's funny, the control room is right ahead of me or right with me because I was taking a look. Apple's up another 1.6%. It is challenging yet again for the top spot in market value, right there with Microsoft.
So it's no longer
Microsoft's not second.
Yeah, I think it is kind of funny. I think Jim Cramer did just admit he counted cards.
To the meeting on Monday.
The presentation was dramatic, important, and a reason to upgrade. Except for Wall Street, all they can think of is enterprise software because that's where the darn IPOs are, which is how they get paid. That's all they care about is enterprise software because that's every single deal out there is enterprise software, and they can't make their quarter.
Okay, and your point is they don't care myopic.
More myopic than myopic.
Oh.
What they really are, David, is against the consumer and pro the enterprise.
I say myopic.
Because it's all what?
Nothing. I say potato. You say potato.
The potatoes were down in the CPI.
I say drought. You say drought. No, I'm kidding.
Let's call the whole thing off of this guy.
This guy? This guy? Me?
Was that Ira Gershwin's line?
Yeah. He's a Redditor now.
Sport.
He's a Redditor.
Because he got the dad, you don't get it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a Redditor.
The Cole Porter songbook is better than the Gershwin songbook.
I'll go along with that.
Thank you.
Only took one guy, as he said. 2 guys to write a song? What's that all about?
I know.
Jim, we got some Hood operating metrics for May. If you want to go there, we got Starbucks joining the value menu craze.
About
story out of CNN yesterday.
Look, Starbucks is a very challenged retailer, and we know that last quarter was a fiasco. I have to tell you that the volume is. You mentioned the other day about the volume. The volume's really low. I mean, when you look at the run in Toll Brothers, it's on it's on very few shares. I would just be wary to pay up 6 for some of these stocks. I think that's a mistake to pay up 6. Don't want people to go
Jim,
crazy.
do you know this company Rent-A-Kill? Rent-A-Kill?
Yeah, I think Nelson Peltz has a big position. It involves killing bugs.
It does. Trian confirms it has a significant position. They say they're currently a top 10 shareholder. They confirm they've reached out to the company to discuss ideas and initiatives to improve shareholder value, and they look forward to working with their leadership team, Pest Control.
Yeah, does anyone look forward to working with a leadership team in reality?
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You got, that's all you got?
Okay. You have to remember, like, when it comes to Apple, one of the things that's going on at Apple is you really have a company that is just now being considered an AI play. Okay, before it was considered dead. You know, people were like, "Oh, Apple AI is dead," and so you know, the enthusiasm for Apple, I think, is just now building. It's really remarkable. It's remarkable. It's exciting, and yeah, I mean, great. It just makes you wonder, like, if Dell can move up, if Dell stock can double because of Apple, or sorry, if Dell stock can double because Jensen shouts out you know, what's it called? That Dell's buying a bunch of chips from them or whatever. If they can double on that shout out, what does that do for you know, Apple, if they can actually have real AI? That's the scoop here. That's, I think, what people are paying attention to. So it's exciting for me on Apple. I was talking to my father-in-law about it. He owns a bunch of Apple, and I'm like, I think this sucker's going to 250 pretty quickly. That's just my thesis. Maybe even more. Like, there's so much enthusiasm for being part of AI. It's crazy.
So they can't do a seat license if the possibility. I mean, the Oracle regular business is not good. What happens is that most of the CEOs, I say, listen, 1% to 3%, we can't know who we're going to fire, but we are going to let people go. We just have to figure out what the new AI means for us, and that's why enterprise software.
And you've talked about, even you are struggling or trying to figure out if this is a cyclical or secular shift.
Exactly.
Right.
I just don't know. I don't know. I do think that in the end, it's possible that Jensen's creating. Jensen Huang from NVIDIA is creating the chip, the Blackwell, that may allow you to do exactly what Salesforce does without Salesforce. That's the big issue. It's an existential crisis. Which of these companies? I mean, right now, ServiceNow, Bill McDermott's working very close with Jensen, so I want to discount ServiceNow as being in trouble. But David, the idea here is that if you bring in this system, you can do what Salesforce does without Salesforce.
That doesn't sound good for Salesforce, then. That sounds like it could be an issue.
All right, this is boring. So let's go see what the sticks are doing. Okay, let's see here. So we've got NVIDIA is now up almost 3%. Apple's up 2.4%. Tesla's moving up 1.79%. Enphase got stuck in the mud here. Affirm keeps going. I just picked up about 15K on an Affirm trade, which I think paid for my NVIDIA hedge. Because I had an NVIDIA put, and I'm pretty sure my Affirm 15K just paid for my L on an NVIDIA put. I had some hedges going in for CPI. I didn't think we were going to get a big green yet. I'm not in Affirm right now, but I'm pretty bullish Apple, I will say. I'm heavily exposed to Apple. But yeah, I think the thing with Apple is you're going to get a lot of fluctuations over time, especially with the Fed. I think this is one of those that on trading, I personally might look at holding through the Fed meeting on Apple. We'll see, but I think if you get a really bullish JPOW, Apple's going to be very excited. Okay, Enphase is trying to wake up. BTC, we had multiple confirmations here at at least 2 confirmations at the 69 line, which is actually very bullish for Bitcoin. So I'm going to hand it to BTC. That's good. And again, based on this CPI report that we got today. So then what else do we have? We have coins up 475, GameStop. GameStop's sitting on 3057. That's pretty good. What's Redfin doing? Let me see. 18%. Are you serious? So Redfin's up 18. Holy crap. Oh, that's amazing. So Redfin has multiple things going for it. It's basically like, you know, you've got small cap, you've got interest rate sensitive due to real estate. So it's actually a very interesting play for rate cuts. I'm not exposed to it, but hot damn, that's pretty good. So good for them. Let's see what else here. This is, let me look at them. Let's chart them out a little bit here. So let's see here. We got a low. We got our, that's our 2023 highs at 17. That's pretty good. If I want to see what we get from, if we're gonna retrace to those numbers, 1768, 426, 1768, 4.26. Yeah. Next, oh, we're right there. 743. Next stop is 939. Wow. That's crazy. Okay. Okay. So, let's see here. That's fascinating. I want to look at the Redfin financials really quick. Redfin, investor relations. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's do it together really quickly. Okay, all right. Come on, baby. Come on. Where are the financial... It's too early to be looking at the giggities. You know, from Wolf of Wall Street. Giggity, giggity, giggity. Okay, so revenue actually up in Q1. Gross profit up to 70.8 mil. Total operating expenses 140 mil. Oh, they're losing money like crazy. Oh, this is speculation. It's a speculative bet with these losses. What cash do we have? Cash flows negative 45. In actual assets, we have about 100 mil. With current liabilities of 284. Oh, that's pretty bad. The financials are pretty bad. Sorry, yeah, I'm not thinking sorry, not the giggity with Family Guy. I was thinking about that. I'm thinking when what was it, Matthew McConaughey or whatever goes, it's like you're sitting there doing the numbers all day long. It's the famous scene. Let me see here. Street. Matthew. Yeah, of course. Here. Okay? I don't care if I get demonetized. It's worth it.
You got a girlfriend? I'm married. I have no wife. Her name's Teresa. She cuts hair.
No. Number one rule of Wall Street.
He is. No,
Where is that?
It's fake. Yeah, Fugazi. It's a...
To success in the broker business. First of all, you get
three, four times.
Where is it?
Again.
Like,
you gotta stay relaxed.
Yeah.
You jerk off?
Do I jerk off? Yeah. Yeah, I jerk off, yeah.
How many times a week?
That's too low.
Like, three, four times, maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket. I myself, I jerk off at least twice a day.
Wow.
Once in the morning, right after I work out, and then once right after lunch.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Okay? I want to. That's not why I do it. Mm-hmm. I do it because I fucking need to. Think about it. You're dealing with numbers all day long. Mm-hmm. Decimal points, high frequencies, bang, bang, bang. Fucking digits. All very acidic, above the shoulders, mustard shit. Mm-hmm. All right? Mm-hmm. It kind of can wig some people out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You got to feed the geese to keep the blood flowing. Mm-hmm. And keep the rhythm below the belt.
Anyway, so that's what I was referring to when I said the Oh man. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, yeah. Wow. Okay. Whew. Okay. So Affirm's stalling out a little bit, and Apple keeps going. That doesn't surprise me. This is gonna be like a 250. I really believe it. There's a lot of money on this one. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. I want to see what the Doomers are saying for a second. Apple takes over Microsoft to reclaim position in world's most valuable company. Wow.
And by the way, that is an elevated R-star level, right? So most of the participants are saying R-star is closer to 2.6, right? So the Fed has plenty of policy space to begin cutting and still be restrictive and still take some bite out of demand while not hurting the parts of the economy that are going to be really helpful, like CapEx that helps improve productivity. That's the part they don't want to kill, right? And it's really important they don't kill that part because that's going to mean we're going to be able to run at a higher growth rate with lower inflation. They want to be able to have policy rates at a level where companies are still investing in productivity enhancing investments.
So, all right, for dummies like me who look at the dot plot, what do we expect? What should we expect today? Because most economists that I've been, IBing with are saying maybe they'll show 2, but I don't believe they can do more than 1. Or maybe they'll show 1, but I don't believe they'll.
That's the IBing is called the Bloomberg Instant Messenger, and so he's kind of like, oh, I chat with economists on the Bloomberg terminal. You should get one too. That's what he's saying.
The second one in December, and we think that that's still very plausible, still very reasonable, especially with today's data.
All right, Constance, thank you so much for coming over here from radio. We need to get you back on as soon as possible.
Holy shisa, dude, my Apple calls. I just put in Apple calls. They're up like 50 grand. I sent an alert on those calls, I don't know, like 20 minutes ago or whatever. Maybe less.
Almost all up, Matt, but we have so much going on here, it's hard to know where to start. So let's start with the S&P 500's great.
I think there's a chance it's just gonna keep going.
This has to do with Apple absolutely breaking out of a range that looked like it was going to break to the downside. It could still be a false initial reaction, but right now the bulls are really trying to take Apple higher and succeeding. The second best sector, real estate, up 2.2% at its highs. It had been on. Somebody
said, "Show us." I'm like, okay, I kind of want to hold these. I don't know, but here you go. I'll show you. That's my account. You can see it moving right there. That's freaking crazy. All right. I mean, it's gonna fluctuate. Like, you're gonna get some red candles here on Apple. Like, you gotta. But, I don't know. You get a bullish JPOW? I don't know. That's pretty nice. So, all right, anyway. So, what else do we have here? Redfin, right there at that 743 line. We just drew that, too. That's crazy. Affirm softening a little bit. You've got Qs, whatever, Meta, whatever, coin, big deal. This is boring. How does GameStop drop again, go negative again? That's boring. Where's the big mover today? Yeah, I saw somebody in the chat. They're like, I'm an engineer. I don't. They don't like Apple AI. I don't know, man. I think Apple AI is the most practical AI that exists. Like, do I really want to go into Midjourney to make my pictures? No, but I can make you pictures and send you like stickers or ideas or whatever and chat right away. I can help me find messages in email or messages with on-device search, which is great. Notifications with AI. Thank frackin' God. I am so tired of like missing important notifications, but getting bothered by all the nonsense. Make a video of your memories with AI. I mean, like, let me look at what the rest of the product announcements were. Well, of what I... here, I'll just show you my notes. These were my notes. Siri can use GPT. Oh, stop listening to me, woman. Okay, notification if you want to record a meeting. Oh, that was cool, too. Like, if you're recording a meeting and you're just sort of like you can automatically send a notification to all the participants that you're recording. Clean up photos, gen emoji, reduce interruptions, that was good. The multiple smart replies, TLDR, Siri can find your driver license. I mean, the autofill features are kind of cool too. These are nice quality of life improvements. Data never secured, the private or stored, the private cloud for processing. I thought that was kind of cool too, with the third-party audits and that. If you want to send your stuff to a public cloud, I'm a big on-prem kind of guy. Like you know, with our companies, we have servers on site. Later this year, I want it now. I think you can actually turn on the beta now though. I might honestly do that. Let me see. Software update, beta updates on. Yeah, iOS 18 beta is out. You can see it right here on the iPad, which is kind of cool. iOS beta 18. Let me see here. Okay, so coming soon. New public betas for iOS 18. I want to. So is 18 what I'm thinking it is? I think so. 18 iPad OS 18. Oh yeah. See, I want that. Okay, I'm gonna download it right now. Update now. I'm gonna get it because then you could try the little calculator and the notepaddy thingy. I'm an engineer. On-prem phone inference may sound like a good idea, but it's far too weak to amount to any AI. It's an overblown personal assistant. But that's fine. I mean, I like think about that for a moment. Like from a practical point of view, that's what we want as people, right? We want a really good personal assistant. I don't need to run a whole LLM on my phone because it doesn't make 2 F's of a difference to me. So who cares? Yeah, it doesn't have the. Oh, it doesn't have the AI features yet. Oh, that's a bummer. Kevin bricking his iPad in 3, 2, 1. It's the brand new iPad. I mean, if it bricks off that, whatever, I'll just reset it. I mean, I don't really have anything on it, so it doesn't matter. I generally have all my devices in such a way where, like, if I lose them, it doesn't matter. It's all backed up you know, backed up to either our servers or to, you know, whatever else. Okay, so let's go back over here. Let's see what we got going on. So Tesla, very low vol on Tesla. Or, sorry, like volume. I should clarify that because vol can imply volatility. You're getting rejected here at the 174.16. Nvidia's up 3%. Enphase is at 6.2. Okay. Okay. Phone inference is fine. Training has much larger compute. Yeah, I agree with that. What does that mean? Meta flushed. Flushed the toilet? Or what does that mean? Yes, I guess so. Okay, that's interesting. I think this is probably JPOW fear. So, and that's what I've anticipated. I've anticipated that going into JPOW, you could have some nervousness. Some of them red candles, right? So, we'll see. All right. Enphase, Tesla. Tesla's trying to push. Coin, the Qs. Slowing down a little bit. The rally's slowing a little. Trade Desk is up 5%. Dude, I just increased my exposure to Trade Desk a little bit yesterday. And I think the day before. I'm not sure. Maybe it was yesterday or the day before. I can't remember. Actually, I could look it up really quick. Yeah, I'm like, nobody's talking about Trade Desk. I like it when it's kind of quiet. Trade Desk. Yep, I added 1% yesterday. That was it. Okay, cool. Wow. That's good. Hood. 2-4. Is there anything really going down? What time, JPOW? He's at 11 California time. So 2 Eastern. GameStop's down 2%, but that's nothing. It's at a great place. Let's see how Kitty's calls are doing. 9 days away. They're $10. So here, you can see the chart of Kitty's calls. Chart. Cartagena. So you can see there for a moment, I think, when Roaring Kitty disclosed this, they went up to $26. Are you serious? Holy crap. Look at that crazy, these crazy fluctuations here. Holy smokes. Oh, Tesla's now at 2%. Let's go. Oh, it's going to break the 174 line. Let's go. Oh, come on. Pump it, baby. I got a trade going on Tesla, too. If you're in any of the courses, really, make sure if you haven't seen it yet, you watch yesterday's course member live stream. Probably one of the most important live streams. And I think they're all very good. But that one was specifically spectacular, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. You're right. Thank you. I miswrote that. Anyway, let's listen over here. I'll edit that.
Currently down about 13 basis points, breaking below 4.3%, of course, on the heels of CPI, which came in flat for the month of May, below estimates. Traders are now pricing in a full cut from the Fed for November. But before that, of course, we're going to hear from the Fed today. Bloomberg's Mike McKee joins us now with the details.
Thank you for catching that there on the little typo I made. Well, just wrote it wrong.
May.
Yeah, Katie, I feel like the halftime host coming on giving the highlights of the first half, because we are only halfway through the day, and we do have to get through the Fed decision, dot plot, and Jay Powell's news conference.
Wow, somebody here, it's the first live stream that you've rewatched since joining the course back in May. That's really cool. That's cool. A rewatch on it. That's really impressive. Oh, damn, I feel good. Thank you. Okay, so shout out, by the way, I just want to shout some of you out because you might be listening here. James just joined. Shout out to James. Let's go.
Gain the lead.
Raymond, sup. Povilas, what's up? Thanks for joining. Daniel, Jersey, Steven, Drew. How do I pronounce EWDI? Ivdi. I'm going with that. Frank. Oh, Frank bundled. What's up, Frank? Reed took every single one there is. Reed's going deep on education here. Oh, let's go.
Gain the lead.
That's really cool. Well, thank you all. I really appreciate the confidence. Keep that up. Speaking of keeping it up, we've got to pump it up.
Cars lower. Not used cars, new cars lower.
Tesla's
0.5%.
going.
Used cars have always been a big focus, but new cars are twice the weight in the CPI, so they matter. Owner's equivalent rent. This is the interesting one that we've got to watch going forward. Really no change from the last 2, 3, 4 months. Up 4.
Right, it says Kevin now has trading money. No, I have fuel for a jet. Hey, look, my thing is I get so just excited about, frankly, my big thing is just helping people grow. That's why I have 7 children. That's why we got lots of employees. It makes me so excited. Like the number is not a thing for me. It's more of a side effect. But I think if you only motivate yourself by by the number, if that's your only motivation, it's tough, because then when you have setbacks in entrepreneurship, which are always going to happen, it's very psychologically hard to keep going. So to get through all the BS, you got to have like a really grand vision, the house hack startups and the broad educational courses and suit hack. There's a lot of cool things going on.
It's pretty much what we've been looking for. We've been waiting for this disinflationary trend to continue, and I think you've seen it on a broad base perspective here. I mean, Mike was just talking about it. We've seen it on apparel. We've seen it with oil prices. We've seen it with new cars, airfares. These are things that tend to be more economic.
Apple has a resistance line, by the way, right here okay, so a few things going on here. Apple's going to have a resistance line at 217. But in addition to that, the order book, my guess, at 215 is going to have a lot of sales. So you gotta flush out the market orders that are now getting entered, or that are in the order book at 215 limits, and then you get these sells. at these like round numbers, I think you're gonna get resistance. And then you got another one at 217. If Apple can break 217 today, it's gonna be up like 6 or 7% today. And I think JPOW is gonna be pretty bullish here. I can't be confident. But I have a call that's a little, I mean, you saw it, the call I have is a little further out. So I have time on this. I don't have too much of a theta decay concern. But my confidence is unchanging, which, you know, sometimes overconfidence is risk. But I don't think I have overconfidence. I think it's just, this is the next AI play. All right, U.S. economy slowing. Okay, give it to me, Larry. Larry! Does anybody know what that's from? If you want to cut in line, you just need to shout and wave. Larry! As if you're trying to catch up to Larry at the front of the line, and you just walk past everybody. Tell somebody in the chat, tell me who that's from. Roaring Kitty posted another meme. I think it might just be my masterpiece. Okay, whatever. So let's listen in here to the economy slowing. Impractical Jokers, y'all nailed it. Nice, really good. Look at that Rust moments. Is that Rust the most toxic video game in the world? I love that game.
Interesting comment from Matt Maley over at Miller Tabak after these numbers dropped. He said that between Apple's upside breakout yesterday and this morning's CPI number, the only thing standing in the way of a further strong rally is Chairman Powell. And of course, Larry, we're going to hear from Chairman Powell.
I know people are waiting for that catalyst, but it ain't that bad.
Do you think that he's going to derail what we're seeing building in the market right now?
I don't necessarily think he's going to derail. I would expect him to talk about the fact that we've seen this data start to evolve in a pattern that the Fed has been looking for. I think what's important to recognize that the Fed came out with their forecast in March, and we're really not too far from what they said was going to happen, right? They said the unemployment rate was going to go to 4%. You can check that off. They said that PCE.
But what about the second wave of inflation? This stream's so screwed for monetization.
1%, and after the weak first quarter, that could be the one area that they tend to focus more on here. So I think he'll continue to assuage fears that they're not going to raise interest rates any further and that they're likely going to start to cut, which will be supportive of the market. But I always tell people that I'm not as concerned about how many.
Somebody says Apple 220 day. I actually believe that. Like that would not be unreasonable enthusiasm.
Because if this economy were...
Wasn't you a bear the other week? So we have a bull-bear scale. Welcome aboard. After some of the data we've been getting on jobs, I've been at about a 4.5 on the bull-bear scale. Still believing in the longer-term Nike swoosh recovery, but 1 being full bear, 10 being full bull. And after the CPI report this morning, I moved myself to about a 6.5 to a 7. Like this is a very good report, and I have zero concerns about JPOW today. I don't think there's a chance in hell we get rugged today. I think he does have to limit his enthusiasm, but I can't see a bad Powell today. I think there's a 5% chance that Powell is mean to us today. But I think today he's coming with, like, I think JPOW, how amazing would it be if JPOW walks in with like a box of Mrs. Fields cookies, starts handing them. He would never, but in the meme world, I could picture that. All right, boys and girls, we did it. All right.
The stock was up as much as 10% today. This is definitely giving a boost to the company's efforts to define itself as one of the competitors in cloud computing.
Yeah, people always get mad at me for changing, exactly where I am. That's why I created the scale, the 1 to 10 scale, because it's not binary. Like, you don't need to be full bear or full bull. You determine what level of bull and what level of bear do you want to be. Like right now, I feel like I'm like a 10 on the Apple bull scale, and I'm like a 7 on the Tesla bull scale, right? And I'm, still kind of like more of like a 3 on the Coinbase BTC scale. Although today's data really helps it. So
down the pipeline. Tell me about Affirm, because somehow that's having an even better day.
Yeah, so Affirm is having a 2-day winning streak, and it's all based on the news that their app will be available on Apple phones, and that's definitely giving a big boost. And it's very much needed. The company was down more than 30% before the open today. The interesting part is that the revenue won't actually show on their bottom line until fiscal year 2025, but investors are clearly betting on the growth of this company. And what we're seeing is that the competitors in buy and pay now later are seeing definitely some pressure.
Somebody says, how dare you adjust to the market? Yeah. I do wonder, actually, somebody's like, how's Commodity Steve doing? Usually Steve spawns in when we talk about Dell or commodities. Let me see how the BCom index is. Just because inflation came in, soft today doesn't mean that you can't still have a second wave. And the BCom index has been rising pretty well since the beginning of the year. It's actually up today. Commodities are up today. So, like, here's your BCom index, which is sort of just a measure of commodities actually doing well right now. Steve was here earlier. I thought, oh, okay. I went to Canada for Steve, and he didn't come to my event. I'm like, where's Steve? I went to Toronto for Steve, and he didn't come. I'm like, are you Steve? No. Okay. Are you Steve? Steve? No. Anyway. All right. Apple's at 4%. Tesla's touching 174. Enphase is only at 4. Nvidia is running to the 125 line. That's a pretty big line here. Somebody here says, Robert says, as a course member here, I can't tell you how much of a blessing it's been. Oh, well, thank you for that. That's really nice. I held on to the Apple calls from yesterday. I'm currently up 399%. That pays for my mortgage for 6 months. Now, I can't verify that, so we can't call this a testimonial. Careful. Gotta always be careful with disclosure. But based on what this commenter is saying, and if this is true, congratulations. I'm really happy for you. That's really cool. Damn, let's go. So, all right, boys and girls. It's time to make another cup of coffee. So, I'm gonna go make some coffee. And I was making coffee. I missed my Impractical Joker's moment to shine. This is why you just don't know what you're gonna get. So yeah. All right, folks. So look, I appreciate y'all. And that iPad's updating. Coupon expires today. On the courses on building your wealth. If you want my theses early, when we do fundamental analysis. You can see the first one today. We're going to go do some fundies. We'll talk strategy for the Tesla shareholder meeting. We'll talk NVIDIA strategy. I mean, there are a few things we got to cover. And so we'll do some catching up. Always fun to be here. Do you have an options course? I mean, there are options lectures in the Stocks and Psychology Money group. And we actually just released new lectures, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago or whatever, in there specifically on options. People had some more questions, and I'm like, okay, I can help solve that. It's easy for me to fill extra lectures. I just go to the Blackboard. I love the Blackboard. When I make a video on the, it's hilarious. Like when I make a video with the Blackboard, the amount of comments that I get from people that are like, man, I hate this new setup. Go back to the colorful one. It's like, bro, it doesn't mean it's permanent. It's all right. Anyway, all right, let's play this. Remember, coupon code expires today. None of this personalized financial advice. Where's my disclaimer? Not personalized financial advice. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Go to meetkevin.com/learn more. Staff at meetkevin.com if you have questions or you want to bundle up or whatever. You need a custom bundle or something. Okay. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. All right. Oh, there goes Apple again. Is that one? Getting past that 115, you got an order book to clear up here, and then you got to get past 117. I don't know. You break those two numbers. All right. I got to make coffee and go to the Course Member Live. We'll see you soon. Bye.